DestinyGroupClass.
Yes, and I'm Liz Kendall.
And I'm Rick Kendall, and it's great to have you here.
The little bit that I'm going to share is the story of Joseph in Genesis. Uh, the things with Joseph, I just have a few points really quick. He was betrayed by his brothers, by his own brothers. And then, I think we have somebody there that says something. He ended up in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that he was uprooted from his household.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his father was just crazy. I mean, he was crazy because something happened to him,
Mm-hmm.
and he loved Joseph,
Mm-hmm.
his father Israel. So he wasn't crazy just to be crazy. I'm just saying he loved Joseph, and then all of a sudden he was gone.
Yes.
But it wasn't Joseph's decision. His brother threw him out.
So in other words, he was faced with a really bad situation.
So he ended up in Egypt, and what happened there? He was accused.
Mm-hmm.
He worked in the palace,
mm-hmm.
and he was accused of adultery by his boss's wife.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
almost
a really
sounds like
bad...
modern day, doesn't it?
It does. Yes, it does. But how worse can it get?
Yeah.
He learned to trust God and to still plant good seeds
Yes.
of truth.
Yeah.
So he told the truth, and because, of course, they believed her, or her husband believed his wife,
mm-hmm.
then they put Joseph in jail.
Yeah.
And I think he always realized that he was where he was for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And that should be our life story. We are where we are for a purpose.
Yeah.
The last point that I want to tell you is because of the revelation that God gave him, God delivered him.
Yeah.
Other people delivered him.
Mm-hmm.
The Pharaoh realized the great revelation that he had because he interpreted a dream for him.
Mm-hmm.
So Pharaoh said, there's something to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's something to him. And of course, there was God to him,
mm-hmm.
right? That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So Joseph was eventually able to help all his brothers when they came to Egypt
mm-hmm.
because there was famine in the land. And guess who had a lot of food?
Mm-hmm.
Joseph.
Yeah.
Because then he had been promoted. He was promoted right below Pharaoh. At that time,
mm-hmm.
he was uprooted and thrown in prison, and then promoted second in command. He recognized his brothers, and he helped them,
mm-hmm.
and he fed them.
Yeah.
So that, to me, is a story of success by being planted seeds of goodness in God.
Yeah, and no matter what we go through, no matter what we face, we grow. We just grow through it. Everybody is going to face change. Everybody's going to have times when maybe change came without their permission.
Mm-hmm.
Like Joseph, like you were talking about with Joseph.
He was uprooted.
Yeah.
From just about every direction he took, somebody would just uproot him when he was beginning to build a good, a good environment around him.
I know. And it seems like, you take 2 steps forward and sometimes it seems like 3 steps back, but it's not really. There's a scripture that says, except a seed fall into the ground and die, it abides alone. But if it will go ahead and die, it brings forth much fruit. Now, that's more than just a fancy scripture to talk about agriculture. But really what it's saying here, and Jesus was speaking this in John chapter 12, verse 24. But what he was saying here is a principle that I think oftentimes we don't understand, and it affects our success. So except a seed falls into the ground and die, it abides alone. In other words, what it means is if it refuses to change from being a seed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it will always be a seed in the sense that's what it started as. But even a seed was not meant or destined to be a seed forever or in seed form.
Oh, to stay in seed form, right?
So if it refuses to change, then it abides alone, meaning it will continue only in the paradigm or in the dimension of being a seed. we're always going to be seed to God in the sense of how we began. But in the seed, there's a prophetic memory. What I mean by that is every apple seed knew it was going to be an apple before it was. So
you didn't have to try hard.
It may have started as a seed, but it wasn't designed just to remain in seed form. Mm-hmm. So here's what I'm saying this for. I think, and I'm going to be sharing in our time, along with what Liz just said, about how to be visionary. Because I think sometimes we think being a visionary means I now begin as a seed, but now I'm going to grow. I'm going to increase as a seed. I'm going to keep on being a seed. I'm just going to be a bigger seed. Sometimes I think that's what is in our thinking. My ministry or my business, I see it now, it's small. But one day it's going to be a big ministry, or it's going to be a big whatever it is now. Does that make sense?
It's just going to be bigger, but it's actually changed.
But if it doesn't stop being in that form, it can't bear fruit. Isn't that something? I mean, it's simple, but it's profound. If you don't die to that form, if you don't let it transform, then it cannot go to the next level of growth. We just think of growth as more stuff or more of what we've got now. But I'm going to tell you, if you're a businessman or woman, if you're a minister in some form of church ministry, it could be what you think is your ministry now and what you think is your business is not the full picture. Mm-hmm. It could be that is just the seed. Mm-hmm. That's the seed of what is coming but needs to transform into the next level. So
yes.
Change is good.
Yes.
Change is very good. So really, in a way, it's like the apple seed has a prophetic memory of what it will be before it is. Mm-hmm. See, we tend to think of dying as termination.
Right.
But I'm not talking about physical dying. Yeah. I'm talking about dying to what we thought the vision was. It's not about being bigger or having more in order to say, now my vision is growing. It's about transforming in the process. A lot of people are excited, honey, about going through doors until they realize they have to change. Yeah. It's got a threshold because it threshes and holds you there until you change so that you don't take an old you into a new place. Wow. Now let me give you some of these terms very quickly. Get ready to write them down. Your vision will transform you. Your vision is the eyes of your purpose. Your vision will transform you. Number 2, it transitions you. You must be, after you're in the process of transforming, you're transitioned. And then number 3, it transfers you. People won't maybe fully understand where you're at right now because you're already transferred into where you're going before you get there. And finally, it translates you. Well, what does that mean? You begin to think like the next level you're in. You know the language, if you will. It's like when she translates from Spanish to English or interprets. She's helping me or others to understand what is being said because she knows the language of her country. Don't be afraid of moving to the next level. Because once seed form is gone, it will never be seed form again.
Right.
Until it's transferred into a new generation of fruit.
Yeah.
I hope you got that.
Yeah. Some
people don't want to let it go of their seed form. They're thinking too small and think it's great. But if you keep saying, I just want my seed to get bigger, then it's all about you, and you totally torpedo your process. So don't be afraid. I mean, let that, we're always from a seed. That's the foundation, but let the seed form go. It will never be a seed again. But what it will produce is exciting. And you've got to get to that point. So the next time it is ever a seed again will be in somebody else. Isn't that exciting?
Yes, it's going to be a whole other generation.
Wow, that was exciting. You will not recognize you in your next level, but you will become acquainted with you.
And you will like it.
You will like it.
You will like it.
You'll find that new mantles come on you for the assignment that you're in now.
God bless. Thanks for joining us.